Hello, I'm Abigail, and I'm back to make a brief review about a book and a podcast. This time, I want to make a review about a book that is easy to read, especially for young children. Many people underestimate reading a children's book. Many people may often ask, why a children's book? Well, it's because reading a children's book plays a crucial role in shaping a child's early development, as these stories are often the first introduction to language, imagination, and moral values. Through engaging characters, colorful illustrations, and simple yet meaningful narratives, children's books sparks a curiosity and help young readers build a love for reading that can last a lifetime. The Architect, Marina Tabassum, is more than just a biography for young readers. It is a celebration of creativity, resilience, and the courage to dream differently. The book introduces children to Marina's childhood in post-independence Bangladesh, where the need for building was immense and inspiration could be found in every corner. From her fascination with the iconic parliament building to her determination to pursue architecture on her own terms, Marina's story unfolds as a lesson in how passion, discipline, and imagination can shape one's path. Unlike many who chose traditional approaches, Marina envisioned structure that embraced natural light, flowing air, and open spaces. Her philosophy was that buildings should not just provide shelter, but also uplift the human spirit. Okay, let's switch to discuss about the podcast. Brene Brown's The Power of Vulnerability is one of the most influential TED Talks to date, largely because it addresses a universal human struggle, our fear of being seen for who we really are. Through a mix of humor, storytelling, and research, Brown delivers a message that vulnerability, often misunderstood as weakness, is actually the birthplace of connection, joy, and love. Her talk is compelling not only for the insight it presents, but also for the way she models vulnerability herself, turning what could be a dry academic lecture into a deeply relatable and inspiring narrative. At the core of Brown's research is the idea that connection gives meaning and purpose to life. Yet connection is fragile because it is threatened by shame, that fear of being unworthy of love and belonging. Shame whispers that if others really knew us, they would reject us. This fear leads many of us to hide to our moral selves or to numb our emotion. But Brown's most important finding is that vulnerability, the very thing we try to avoid, is not the problem but the solution. Vulnerability, she argues, is the willingness to show up and be seen despite the risk of rejection and uncertainty. Far from being a weakness, it is the foundation of courage, creativity, and authentic connection. Brown identifies a group of people she calls the wholehearted. These are individuals who embrace their imperfections, treat themselves with compassion, and approach life with courage. They do not avoid vulnerability, they accept it as part of what it means to live fully. The wholehearted understand that joy, love, and belonging are only possible when we open ourselves to uncertainty. Brown emphasized that we cannot selectively numb emotions. When we suppress shame, fear, or grief, we also diminish our capacity to experience joy and love. To live wholeheartedly is to risk heartbreak in order to embrace the fullness of life. Her delivery is as powerful as her message. Well, you can see. Brown uses humor to soften the heaviness of her subject, making the audience laugh while guiding them into uncomfortable truths. She even shares her own resistance to vulnerability, recounting how her research led her into what she called a breakdown, which her therapist reframed as a spiritual awakening. By sharing her struggles, she demonstrates that the very courage she is advocating, reinforcing the authenticity of her message. Her openness makes the talk feel less like a lecture and more like an intimate conversation. Brown also highlights the cultural forces that make vulnerability difficult. Well, I agree with this. We live in societies that prize certainty, perfections, and control. From childhood, we are not taught to present polished versions of ourselves, to perform rather to be simple people. Because choosing vulnerability requires rejecting this cultural script and embracing discomfort. This is not easy, as she said, and Brown acknowledges the risk. Being vulnerable may lead to rejection, failure, or shame. Yet she insists the alternative, leaving behind emotional armor, leads to disconnection and emptiness. Vulnerability, though it's painful at times, is the path to meaningful relationship and authentic living. That's all for the review today. Thank you for listening and have a great day.